some people thought. Tell me when. Hello, how are you doing? We are doing our very first live for Essential Stencils. And we're going to give it just a couple minutes to let some people hop on and for us to figure out if we are actually doing this correctly. I have so graciously volunteered my better half to be here and help with the camera and look at your comments and questions so that I can possibly remember the things I'm supposed to tell you and do the things I'm supposed to do. It's been a very, very interesting couple weeks for all of us. And if one thing we've learned is to kind of learn very quickly to go with the flow. But first, my name is Tammy. I own Cheers to Creativity in Lindenhurst, Illinois. We're up right by the Wisconsin border. I know it said Austin, Texas in one of our little pre-things, but nope, up in Illinois. And we have a business where we love to do things with reclaimed, renewed, repurposed, vintage, industrial, and handcrafted items. That plus the fact that I have painted for 30 some years makes stenciling and hand painting a big part of how we embellish some of our fun finds. And the finding part is one of our favorite things to do, going on the hunt. So as I was saying, we have learned that you have to kind of adjust things in today's world. And that goes to say very quickly with our originally planned project. We originally were going to take one of the new sets. If you've been watching any of these this week, you've seen a lot of unveiling. And we were going to do something with the vintage garden, kind of like on the window you see here. However, last night we got to watch Sharon from Australia do a very, very similar piece. And it was awesome. But we decided you guys needed to see something just a little different. So, did want to tell you real quick though, that when we did do our project, we found some really, really shiny buckets and wanted to just give them a little distressing. So there is a really quick video on my Facebook page, Cheers to Creativity, that'll show you how to do that in just a matter of minutes.
131 people are watching. Thank you.
Awesome. We really appreciate you being here. We'd really like it if you would like us. Give us some hearts. Maybe share. Keep it going. We are going to do a project tonight from that same stencil set, but instead of the garden one, we're going to do one with the wildflowers. Okay. And I did it initially on an old window. Again, something we reclaimed. Kind of fun. Then decided maybe I should try it on a piece of wood. So this is just a piece of old barnwood. And then decided to try it maybe on a galvanized bucket because it's time for spring and it's time for me to have a fun trash can to sit by my desk. This was fun too because I was able to use one of the sheets from the March Stencil of the Month Club. If you're not familiar with the Stencil of the Month Club, it is a monthly subscription that comes directly to your door from Essential Stencil. You can sign up for a month or 3 months or however months at a time you want. And they're stencils that come just to you. They're not sold any other place, so they're exclusive and they're fabulous. Some of them are designed by Essential Stencil and some of them are designed by some of the ambassadors. I'm one of the ambassadors. You.
Who am I?
No, you.
There's some people who are asking, who's helping you tonight?
As I said, I volunteered my husband to do the camera work and to watch the comments because we know I couldn't do it all. And he's a very essential part of my business. back to the Stencil of the Month Club real quickly. If you are interested, go to Essential Stencil, I knew I would do that, .com and check it out. And if you use my code, which is, imagine that, cheers, you'll get $5 off your first month. Very good. So I showed you what we're going to do, but I want to give you a chance to have a little say in how we do it tonight. If you would like to see me do the wildflowers and embellish them with some hand-painted flowers on an old window, you can let me know. Or we can do it on a vintage cabinet door. So go ahead and tell us what you think, and we'll do a couple things here first, and then we will decide which piece it's going to get done on. The other one that I forgot to show you from that set is the Hummingbird Lane. So sorry. Looks like that. And I want to show you don't always have to do the whole stencil. In this case, I just took the birds and used those as the outline for my hummingbirds, and the stencils for the flowers just as they were. The hummingbirds, I came back and added a little color. But it's just another way you can use your stencils. Let's get rid of those. All right. If you've been watching this week, you've seen a lot of unveiling of some really, really cute spring projects.
Does hubby have a name?
Yes, sweetheart. His name is Al. And I'm very grateful he's here to help me tonight.
So ask him again. We're getting some votes for the windows. We haven't gotten any votes for the door yet.
Okay. We'll give it a couple minutes and we'll decide from there. One of the sets that came out with the spring collection was these 3 cute little bunnies. 1, 2, 3. And because I like to work on old things, I did the first one on a piece of reclaimed wood. But you can always just go get new wood as well and stain it or paint it. And they all turn out just super, super cute. Fun projects for spring, easy enough to share with some of the littles that you probably have at home right now. And then I wanted to show you really quickly the 12 by 12 set that came. You warned me. Bloom where you're planted. I did that one on just a galvanized bucket. It'll be really cool to have with some blooming flowers in a few months. This was the bicycle. Loved doing that one with a little bit metallic paint on it. And the last one is Love Grows Here. And I just did that on a little round. And depending on how long it takes us to do our window or door, we may do that on a reclaimed wine barrel head tonight as well.
Yeah. I think it's kind of unanimous. I think it's window.
Okay, well we will get ready to do the window in just a moment. Essential Stencil will be giving away 3 sets of stencils tonight. We'll pick names randomly and announce them at the end of the evening. If your name is called, all you'll need to do is email support@Essential Stencil, and they will get your stencils to you. They're very fun stencils. They're very good quality, and it's always fun to get some fun mail. All right, so are we going to go ahead and go with a window? Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to swap. I wanted to show you real quickly one of the projects that we do. Talked about our love for doing things with old wood and industrial pipe. The table I'm working on is actually our sofa table, but it's one of my very favorites, and it shows off my husband's great skills as well.
It's an old cattle barn door.
Okay. So I've got a window set up.
Sorry for the average camera work.
He's doing awesome. Don't you think he's all doing awesome, guys?
I'm going to sit down and answer any questions anybody has, and if we missed your questions, we will circle back to them.
Okay, so when I'm painting on glass, a couple quick things to know, as obviously I cleaned it off from years of dust and dirt, or most of it. I take and wipe it down real quickly just with rubbing alcohol. That just kind of removes any last bit of grease there may be. I'm going to use the Wildflower stencil on the top part of this, and going to tape it down so it stays a little more secure. You could use regular acrylic paint and paint in a window. That would not make it permanent, but sometimes that's okay. If you just wanted to do this for the season and then scrape it off with a razor blade and wash it off and use it for fall, you certainly could do that. I like to use DecoArt gloss enamels. They are more permanent paint, and I just kind of like their coverage. Okay, when we are working the stencil, or the sponge into the stencil. So are all of you homeschooling?
There we go. We had a bit of a video interruption. I'm not sure if it happened for everybody, but it happened for us on our other laptop. I think we're back up and going again.
Okay, what did we miss? Do we know?
I think we just missed a little bit of stenciling, so I think you're okay. Just keep going.
We're keeping going. We're just hanging on to those letters so they don't kind of pop up on us as we're applying the paint. I can always take a quick little peek to make sure I'm not bleeding through or bleeding around. So far, so good. And I'm going to give that just a brief bit to dry, and I'm going to go ahead and do the little lower letters that say locally grown.
Lots of great comments.
Thank you.
Not a lot of people have had a lot of experience on glass, so this is really fun for them.
Well, good. Where's everybody from tonight?
Brenda asked, does the paint peel off easy?
Does the paint peel off easy? It does immediately afterwards. So if I made, don't have a razor blade handy, of course, but if I made a boo-boo right here and I wanted to get it off, I could get it off pretty quickly with either a damp rag, or I might need to use a little bit of a razor blade. Once this paint is set and cured, obviously I'm not going to throw this in an oven. That is how I do set paint on like my glasses. I don't know if you can see that or not because I have no idea the camera angle. When I do these on glasses, after they're dry, I put them in the oven and I bake them for 30 minutes at a low temperature, bringing the temperature up slowly and bringing it back down slowly. Can you see that, Al?
I'm sorry, I was trying to answer comments.
All right. But on here, after I let it dry for about, a good couple weeks, it is permanent. I hope that answered the question and you were able to see what I was doing.
What kind of paint is it again?
It is gloss enamels from DecoArt. Can you see that, Al?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I can't see it, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've gone back right away and given it a second coat. Again, I am not pressing down super hard. And I can always, oops, peel off a corner and take a peek. And if Al wants to come and take a peek and see, guess not.
Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties with the being able to respond to comments. It's not letting me.
Less important than, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the little bit of flowers that are on here as well. When I'm using the sponges, they're great, but sometimes you don't need a whole big sponge to do these little flowers. So what I like to do is just grab a sponge and cut it. I know there are some people out there who actually are very economical and they save their paints or save their sponges and wash them out. I honestly throw mine away when I'm done. So I'm just grabbing a green paint. Any green paint will do. And again, I'm making sure I'm offloading. And I'm just going to kind of cover up this flower on the top, so I don't have to worry about getting my green on it.
Yes, we do sell our projects. We have 2 retail locations.
We also have items available on our Facebook page and also on our website, which is cheerstocreativity.com.
Can you use any paint or just gloss enamel?
You can use regular acrylic paints. It will not be permanent. You could spray it or apply a varnish to it, which would help some. But again, like I said, if you just wanted this to be seasonal and wanted to take it off and do something different come fall, why not?
We are in Lindenhurst, Illinois.
All right. So I'm just using just a little piece of scrap paper to kind of help me stay away from some of my flowers. Okay. I know that's going to need a second coat as well.
Can you use an ink paint?
I'm not completely sure if that would work on the glass or not. So that is not a no, but that is a one I will be glad to ask one of my other artist friends and get back to you. Go back with just that second coat of the green here real quick.
We are in the very northern part of Illinois, right on the Illinois-Wisconsin border, right between Milwaukee and Chicago.
Where it was really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yesterday and rainy and dreary today. I preferred yesterday. But that's also a really good reason to do this piece, is it's nice and bright and lots of fun colors. Okay, I'm going to make our flowers on one side. Oh, how about
We have 2 retail locations in vintage antique home decor malls, one in Antioch, Illinois called Great Lakes Boutique, and another one in Libertyville, Illinois called Reclaimed Artisans.
Both of them, of course, are closed because they are not considered essential businesses.
We think they're essential.
Trust me. Here's a situation where I want to show you this. So I've used this color, and I may need to go back and add another coat, but that's okay. I'm just going to cut it off. I've still got a little sponge part left, and I'm going to do the flower on the other side. And I put way too much paint on some of these.
Okay, we got people from Missouri, West Virginia.
That just turned out to be a little more sheer than I want it to be, so I'm going to just pull a little more color. Yeah.
Iowa.
Wow.
Well, that seems to be the theme. Not many people have seen using stencils on the window, so I think that's why that was so popular.
We've done quite a few of them that way. I cut that purple off, went back to the peach color, so I can just give it a little more color in there. All right, let's see what we have got for our flowers. What do you think, guys?
Looks really cool. If you see the one up on the wall, she actually made me paint the door behind the window so it showed up better.
It didn't show up very well on a brownish surface. So, and I just made a mistake. I put the wrong paint out, so it's okay. This is where it's good. You get to see that this is real. So, like I said, I do like to mix hand painting with stenciling, but if you wanted to strictly stencil this is where you could go back and find flower stencils and do that as well. The way I'm going to do this is actually really, really quick and easy. I like these flowers because I can do them quick and easy on a lot of things. I'm just taking a flat brush and I'm picking a couple different greens and I'm just going to give it some background. I'm gonna try to get as close to the bottom of my window as I can. It's not always easy to do this upside down, I have to tell you.
You want to swing back around to this side?
I will when I do my flowers. I think
Okay.
we can pretend that. And this isn't the only time I'm going to be adding the green, so I can just, this is just, there's some background color for it. Sometimes I'm going up on the side of my brush, this the little chisel part of the brush, to try to give some skinny lines. Okay. Maybe a few more over here. Like I said, with the change in our times, I'm used to teaching painting classes in our home studio or retail locations or even conventions. But right now, I'm having to consider a few different things, like virtual painting classes that I am going to be starting next week. Information on that is also on our Facebook page and our website. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of a darker color, so this is going to be my red for right now. Apparently I'm going to need to hit the craft store. Oh, they're not Essential, are they? Have to see what we can get online. I'm just taking a round brush, and I am not painting any strokes per se. Can you see these out? I am just tapping up and down, trying to keep a little wider at the bottom, and then just get a little narrower at the top. I'm going to do a few of those. They don't all have to start at the same spot.
We got a little pause again, so just hold on a second. There we go. Now we're catching back up.
Okay, this is obviously something that is a little on the newer side to us, so we do apologize for any technical glitches. We appreciate your patience with that.
Does the paint darken some as it dries?
Sometimes it's going to need a second coat. I'm going to have Al come over and show you, because like right now with the red's a little more opaque, but when I come back and I add a couple of different layers of colors, it will get darker. I like the Wildflowers above it to have a little bit of see-throughness, I guess. And I purposely did not press down or give as many coats to the locally grown. I wanted that just to be a little lighter. So you can always give it a second coat. And I'm just coming back, same dirty brush, and I'm just picking up a little bit of that peachy color I had out before. Just dabbing on it. I'm doing that while it's wet, because in that way it kind of blends with the color underneath it. And I'm wiping a little bit of that off onto a paper towel, picking up some white. And just a couple of dots of white on one side.
They're saying you make that look so easy.
It is so easy because I'm not creating a shape. I am literally going bump, 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 bump. It's nothing more than pouncing a little bit of a shape. So I'm going to rinse my brush in my very dirty water. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of that purple color I had.
It will wash off, or you can take a razor blade and start over, or take off part of it if you have a little mess up.
I had a little razor blade, which I was supposed to have. Would have been nice.
Oh.
Okay. So, all right, I've gone into just a purple color, okay, and I'm just going to do a couple more of these spiky looking flowers. They kind of remind me of Sylvia's. Is that what they are? I'm not sure. And there's no right or wrong number. You can have them next to each other. You can have one randomly over here. They should have a little more point at the top. I'm guessing some of mine do not. And then sometimes all I need to do is take that same color, pick up just a little bit of white to make a lighter color. And that helps me with the values instead of going straight to white. And then I'm just wiping some of the excess off, picking up straight white, and then just do it again like I did on those red ones, just a little bit on one side.
What kind of brushes are you using?
I use a variety of brushes because this was a bigger window than I was really planning on painting. I actually could not tell you the brand of this one, but my most used brushes are Royal brushes, which you can get on Amazon. They look kind of like that. That's a Royal number 5. This is what the brush I did use when I did the little smaller version that you saw up on the wall. Okay. Rinsing my brush, and I'm going to show you some of the other little flowers over here.
We're pausing out again, so
Okay.
again, not our fault. The internet is getting much more traffic than normal
Yes.
with our stay at home.
I think we're all trying to be as creative as we can be to not be bored. It's just something we all haven't had to experience before, and so having to share the bandwidth a little more. How are we looking out?
Mm-hmm. No, it looks really good. I'm watching you from here too. So,
Okay.
but I mean, we keep pausing out a little bit, so you're a little ahead of the video. So
Okay, so I'll slow down. Yellow being one of the more transparent colors, especially I find in glass paint, I tend to mix it as I'm painting it with a little white. It just seems to give it a little better coverage. Oops.
how is this paint so thick?
Just by the nature of it being an enamel paint, it is a little thicker. It's great for glass. It's great for ceramic. There is also straight glass paint. Some of them are very sheer. Some of them are a little more opaque. And there's a lot of different brands out there you can be looking at. Folk Art makes a wonderful enamel paint. Deckward, which I'm using right now. Even some of the paints like Apple Barrel have their version as well. All right, these are my spiky flowers. I can at any point, if I want to, come back and make sure that I've got some greens coming from them. And I don't care if I pick up some of my colors next to it. I think it's kind of part of what happens. And again, I can come back when I'm all done and add more, but I just wanted to.
The enamel is a water-based enamel.
It is a water-based enamel, so when I'm all said and done, all I will do is take my brush upstairs and clean it really well with clean water, not with purple water. But for now, it works just fine. Okay. I'm gonna show you the other flowers.
How do the brushes clean up?
I just use a brush cleaner. You can use just regular soap and water, which is fine. I like using Fusion brush cleaner. Fusion is actually a mineral paint that I use when I paint furniture, but it gets down into the ferrule part of the brush, and it really helps keep them clean. I am a bit of a brush person, also known as something else I can't say on TV probably. But I'm very picky about my brushes. We'll just say it that way. Okay, we're going to make some flowers that I don't have the right colors for. Okay, some of this. Now, while you're up there, could you run and give me the pink paint?
Yes.
Okay.
Somebody's asking about the contest and how do they contact Essential Stencils.
Okay, so the contest tonight is Essential Stencil. We'll be giving away 3 sets of stencils. I don't know which ones they are. And we will be picking 3 random names, and we'll pick those names from comments. We'll announce that at the end of our video tonight, and then you will email support@Essential Stencil, and they will take care of getting them to you. The pink paint I need is actually sitting right in front, over here, over by my enamel paints.
Okay.
No, here, over there.
Got
over
it,
there.
got it.
Sorry, guys. That's where my enamel paints are. Okay, I'm just taking, and this is again super little circles. I'm not doing anything more than the little circles. That's another color. That's okay. Random here and there. And have no idea why I didn't pour this out in my palette. So I'm not exactly thinking clearly. Okay. Some of them can be smaller.
Pink paint.
No. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the red paint that I have and mix that in a little bit here and there. Again, this is not a stroke or anything fancy. It's just adding some color. Okay, I'm going to wipe that brush off just a little bit.
While you're doing that, somebody wanted to see the fronts of one of the bottles.
I'm just taking another color. This is a pink, and I'm giving it some pink flowers. As I said before, the wildflowers are just kind of fun. They're freeing. They're never the same twice. The ones on my glass don't look like the ones that I'm painting on here, but that's okay. That's just all part of nature.
Someone just posted, "This is the first time watching you," and I said, "Well, that's because
Thank
it's
you.
the first time we've done this."
Yes, it's been interesting. Let's go ahead and maybe add just a touch of purple to these flowers. Again, and this is nothing fancy, it's just blobbing it on. In fact, I'm picking up a little bit of white here. Some of them. Don't care if my colors blend. How are we looking, guys? Looking like flowers a little bit yet? Hopefully.
We have several people who would like to see you have videos on YouTube.
In this, week and a half that we have been in our new norm, I've learned how to do time-lapse videos. I've gone live for the first times. What else have we done now? We've posted more. We've started the virtual painting parties. Yeah, okay, YouTube's next, okay. Oh, as I told you, I usually add white to my yellow, and I'm totally forgetting, and it's super, super sheer. So let's add some white.
Someone asked if we ever painted the back of the windows.
You can do reverse painting as well. Because I was doing the stenciling, I find it cleaner and crisper to do it on front, but you could do it on the back as well. I ran out of paint. No, I ran out of colors.
Yes, we do personalized painted glasses.
Yes, we do. We can tell you a fun story that Christmas time this year, on a whim, I decided to paint gnome glasses. I saw gnome glasses in my sleep. I painted so many of them. Okay, we are almost done with our foreground flowers. I need to rinse my brush again. This is where I would decide if I needed to come back and add some more greenery to it. Oh, we had time.
You could. Halfway through.
And I'm gonna just pull some. Again, I don't care if I end up blending some of those colors. I just want to make sure I fill it in. And those flowers all need little bits of centers. So I can either do my centers with some black.
Clean water.
Excuse our reach. Again, this is reality. Or I could just come back with any of the dark colors. This happens just to be a really dark blue. And I'm just touching the centers. And I don't have to do all of them.
So again, we're getting a couple more lags and delays. Thanks for being patient with the technical side of things. 250 people watching right now.
Awesome! Again, we really appreciate you being here. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the shares. There are so many great ambassadors sharing these spring designs this week, and I'm sure beyond. And it's great that Essential Stencil has added a bunch of extras to keep us all entertained, to give us some ideas. Okay. And I must say, I've managed to make my table look like it does in my studio, like a hot mess. All right, I'm gonna lift this up for you. What do you think? Do you think we need to add anything else? Look pretty good?
Somebody had commented that they redo windows for all 4 seasons. So you could take the window, you could scrape it off, paint something for summer, and then pumpkins for fall.
And the famous red truck for Christmas time. All right. Hand you that. I am going to have time to show you. This is a wine barrel top. And when we get them, they are very flexible and they need to be taken apart and glued together, which is something else that my wonderful better half does. And this is kind of how they look at that point. And then we tend to sand them. You're going to show them the Merry Christmas. Okay. And I'm going to show you this one, and I'm just going to do this on the raw wood. We can stain them. We do paint them sometimes.
I'm going to walk you over to one that we did for Christmas last year, and we take these wine barrel heads. They're solid oak. Tammy did the buffalo plaid stencil and the Merry Christmas on this one, but these are actually Lazy Susans that have a spinner on the bottom. And then we also do them on smaller 18-inch round as trays. And this is the Essential Stencil Home Stencil.
See, it's not just me. All right, give me just a second to get our regular acrylic paint. Black and green. All right.
Everybody loves the flowers. Thinks the window turned out great.
Thank you very much.
I cannot figure out how to respond to comments, so I apologize. We will go back and do that. It's not giving me the window to type into.
All right, I am going to show you how I do this on our trays. I am using, for this, just regular acrylic paint. I can easily do this with a brush, but for tonight's purpose, I'm going to do it with the sponge that I just rubbed, which is why I have more sponges. Again, really important part is I'm putting the paint on, and when I put the paint on, it's wet. It's very wet on there. I have to take it off. I have to take some of it off onto offloading spot onto my plate, or tap it onto a couple times onto the paper towel. Again, you could tape this down. I'm just going to hold it kind of carefully as I say that I'm moving it all around. So you know what? I have tape. Let's just tape that right there. A little painter's tape. All right, so this is again from the 12 by 12 set of 3 that came with the bloom where you were planted and with this that cute little bicycle on the spring is here. Again, I'm going to just go up and down.
People are asking where you can get wine barrel heads.
Well, there's about 100 of them in my garage. We actually found a gentleman who makes wine, what does he make?
Wine bottle racks out of the side staves, and he doesn't use the heads, so we buy the barrel heads from him to make trays and other things out of them. I've made a lot of end tables and furniture, and Tammy's probably done 100 different versions of trays and wall hangings out of them. We do have them. We have shipped them periodically. We can put them up on our website and make them available for sale. We can sell them either glued together or in this most raw state where you'd have to do a little work.
Okay.
Can I slow down a little bit because we're a little delayed?
Okay.
Talk about what you're doing.
Okay, so I am just going through, and I'd love for Al to come and show you that because I can see that the paint is, not the paint, I'm sorry, the wood is kind of sucking the paint up in certain areas. I am gonna need to give that a second coat, but I'll go through and finish this first go round first. First.
People are asking about the website. It's cheerstocreativity.com. We are in Lindenhurst, Illinois. That's the very far northern suburb of Illinois.
I'm just peeking to make sure I'm not bleeding. I'm not, so I'll put that back down.
Can we still smell the wine? Yes, when we get
Yes,
when we get the heads, they have the red wine and the sugars all crusted on the bottom of the barrel heads.
There's the back of one. Okay. I'm just, again, I've checked to make sure I wasn't bleeding. My paint is almost completely dry because I'm using such dry paint. I was going to show you the back of one of the wine barrel heads.
And if your phone doesn't have smell-o-vision, it definitely does smell like red wine.
I'm just going back and giving this a second coat. And I don't care if my letters are perfect. I mean, by that I mean if there is some variation in the coverage of them. And often, like I did on the home one, maybe not. I very often will go back through and actually lightly sand over the letters after they're completely dry to give them just a little more of a distressed look. But that's very much of a personal preference.
We are getting some people who want to order some wine barrel heads.
Okay.
We will respond to you after the live via Facebook Messenger and get you the information.
That is just the very simple words around there. I could have done the, done the vine-ish thing right around it, but I want to do something just a little different on this one. And I just saw the white dots on here, which reminded me I forgot to put the white dots on the window. So I might go back and show you those. All right. I'm going to make sure that there's nothing on the back of my stencil because I don't want, if that had paint on it, it might smear somewhere else. Go around. Okay. I'm just going to kind of use this as a corner up in this corner here. And because it's a little bit smaller, I can use one of the smaller parts of a sponge that I have cut off. And let's make sure we have the right paint out, which we don't. I'm going to pick up a little bit of dark Hauser green. Any dark green would do, but this is the one I'm using for part of it. And then the other color I'm grabbing, just one of my favorite green. It's called Desert Cactus. And I just like having a couple colors of green to go back and forth. So first I'm going to the darker green. I might have to have my wonderful husband get me another plate. But I've taken most of it off. And I'm just going to lightly, oops, up and down. I'm holding it as I go. And I'm not going to do the whole thing around. I'm just going to go up to a couple of these little dots. And I just moved it, but that's okay. Get offloading.
Lots of interest in barrel heads. I think I'm gonna be busy in the garage, gluing up for a while.
Okay. So before I move it, I'm actually going to pick up a little bit of that lighter green I showed you. And just here and there. I'm not doing it everywhere. That's why they call it here and there. And I'm just going to lift it off at the corner there.
We've got a couple of people ask how much the barrel heads are. If I
We'll
send,
be getting back.
yeah, if I do them, if I don't glue them up, they're $28 a piece. If I glue them up, they're $48 a piece. And then you've got to pay shipping, and we can calculate shipping depending on where you live and such.
All right, I just took, I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but I took the stencil and I just moved it to the opposite end. You see that okay? And I'm just kind of guessing.
Yeah, we got full. You're in good shape on screen.
All right, so I'm going to do the same thing I did.
And sorry for the delays, guys. We've got super high-speed Wi-Fi here, but I think it's just the internet in general. Do you wash your makeup sponges?
There are people who do, I do not. I cut off the areas that I use, and I always have, let me see if I can do this, a little cup that I throw the pieces in, and then I can just pick up smaller ones when they're especially nice when I'm doing multiple colors or a lot of little places. When I did that bicycle, they were very helpful to be able to just cut them into little pieces. Okay.
They love how you're using small sections of the stencils.
Thank you. And again, I just went back with a little bit of the light, and I'm not doing it everywhere. I'm just touching it here and there. And I'm going to pull that off. And there I've just got the corners. And when I go to put handles on, well, there's one of each.
I think there's two of each.
I know, there
Okay.
is, but there's two. Maybe it's better to show it that way.
Yeah. We've just ordered our own designed handles. You can get handles at Hobby Lobby, but we've got some pretty cool designs, and we're going to make those available on our website as well.
I wanted to add just a little bit more to our vine accent. So I'm just going to take some white paint. And I'm going to take a brush that's not very nice, or I'm going to make it so it's not very nice, because this one is actually kind of nice. And I'm going to dab a little tiny bit of paint on there, and I'm going to take most of it off here. Make sure I take more of it off on the paper towel, because I just want very, very light, almost like baby's breath poking through here. Could do this with a color too, if I wanted like little pink flowers, but very, very little paint.
Yes, we will post links on our website. Somebody asked if I'd send links on instructions on how to glue up the barrel heads.
We're gonna have him do a live, and so I knew this was coming soon. So.
I'll send you the link to the video that I watched to learn how to do it.
All right, if you wanted to have a couple more distinct dots, you could go back with just the tip of your brush, or this just happens to be a stylus tool, something I use for transferring patterns.
Yeah, not to talk too much about barrel heads. Keep in mind, every one of them is a little different. Everyone has a little bit, some have more distressing, some have less distressing. You know, if you do decide to purchase a couple or one or two, whatever, we'll try and make them as consistent as possible, but they are in every level of distressing sometimes.
And some of them are imprinted with logos that we leave on there. If you want to sand and sand and sand and sand and sand and sand to get them off, you certainly can.
As she was saying with the logos, some people just, we sell many of the barrel heads just like that with handles on them, just so people can have it for their wine rooms or their bar areas or whatever. But I think they look much better painted.
All right. Okay. So here is our,
It's gorgeous. What do you finish that with?
we use polyacrylic. There are several brands that you can use. I actually prefer the Varathane brand, and we usually do a satin finish. What I do is I let this dry completely, then I give it a coat, let it dry, give it a coat, let it dry, and then we'll take gray paper, which is really, really fine sandpaper, and sand it just lightly before we give it its final third coat. That way it's protected enough, pardon me, that it can be wiped off with a damp cloth. It is not food safe, but it is perfectly fine to put a plate of food on it, and the handles make it really great to be able to carry it from one area to the other.
They do make food safe varnishes that you can use. I'm sorry.
So if you would push that back up so I can finish up, that would be kind of nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the computer and there we go.
Sorry about that, guys. But this has been a lot of fun for me. I'm sure I have forgotten 15 things I was supposed to mention. But again, I really want to thank you for being here. We will go back through the comments. We will pick out 3 winners, which Al is going to do. He's supposed to have scrolled through comments. I'm looking at him and I'm not sure he has. And he's going to write them down so we can send them over to Essential Stencil. I hope you have an opportunity to check out our Facebook page where we are trying to do more lives, and also to check out our website, cheerstocreativity.com. It's been a very challenging time for all of us. I hope you are all staying well, being safe, and being kind. So, waiting for names.
Oh, you're waiting for me for
You have to tell me the names, and we have to write them down.
All right, so we've got
you have to write them down.
Sherry McVickers McElmore.
Sherry McVickers McElmore. Okay.
Okay. Marilyn Ballard.
Marilyn Ballard.
And Kathy Poston Monterey? Jumped off my screen.
Kathy
Poston
Monterey.
Montanari.
I apologize. We're writing those names down. We will send them over to Essential Stencil. You can email support@Essential Stencil, and that will help get the ball rolling with you getting your stencils. Thank you so, so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers.